Him and a lot of his team wind up on top of our Alpha Draft top performers. You can check them out at the bottom of your screen. And, well, they're all
number
Fnatic.
one. Not often. Not maybe Incon has gotten the top performer of the game before on Fantasy.
Yeah.
But Badgah, a good one. Twig, Realzx, maniaKK, and Zyrhoes rounding out the top 5. And, of course, that makes you a Fnatic. Shout out to Captain Twig. Best performance I've seen from him in a while.
Oh, yeah.
At least that I've casted, I'm sorry, in a while.
It's just so much fun to watch the sort of the growth of him. Not the growth, because Captain Twig has started off as a strong player, but early in the split and a little bit of the summer split, he was the issue for this team. And as soon as he's knocked it out, the team has came up onto a different level. And as you said, that last game, you couldn't tell me he was in a slump 5 weeks ago. Right. You couldn't tell me that. I wouldn't have believed you. The Freya ban comes out from Fnatic again. No Freya for Rens. Just a little bit too powerful for Team Dignitas.
Back to the side of Dignitas, and they got to figure out if they're going to ban out Sun Wukong or not. maniaKK's performance on Sun Wukong in that last game was one of the better ones that I've seen from a first pick position Sun Wukong in some time. Not often you see him getting the better of the lane versus the Osiris when the Osiris is available, but I definitely think that was the case there. And congrats to maniaKK for putting out a really great performance and really helping spread that map out.
So Khepri is a strong pick. Khepri brings a lot to a team. But two interesting things to note that I am curious about this ban. So Fnatic have shown that they like to play the aggressive. They just played an aggressive support very, very well out of Bacchus, right? Which Khepri is everything but not. Khepri is very defensive support. And Khepri doesn't have an initiation, which you largely seek out of your solo laner, and you're leaving Sun Wukong open, who doesn't really have a... That's not an initiation god that I think of, right? That's a frontliner, but not a god with a huge knockup or a team fight starter. So the Khepri ban, while it's a powerful god in and of itself, it doesn't fit into what Fnatic did last game at all.
No, but I mean, you would think they would draft it. So Janus going to be taking my Dignitas in response to Wukong. Thor, the likely pick here as well. I suppose they could take away a Naja if they felt it was really that powerful. They could pick up the Guardian here as well if they want the Geb, which would be the probably the highest priority pick to take outside of the Thor, and they will take it. Janus Thor again for Team Dignitas, and it worked out fairly. I mean, basically, they executed it. It just barely didn't get some kills in the early game, and the game ended up snowballing in Fnatic's direction.
Yeah, the picks were not the problem for Team Dignitas.
No.
If Team Dignitas picked the exact same squad, I would not be offended. I would actually think it's fine. Dignitas just didn't execute as well as they wanted to in the last match. So unfortunate for them. Repeat, Captain Twig will be picking up Naja one more time for Fnatic. So expect a lot of the same. Fnatic still have one more pick on their phase, and they will opt for Ra. So understanding that Dignitas will probably try to ban out one of the other sides of that combo, they switch things around, Fnatic, and they pick Ra before the second round of bans.
Yeah, it's a good tricord. It also leaves open the Hunter counter pick for Realzx here, which is likely what you're going to see out of the final pick from Fnatic. Guardian-wise, Bacchus still makes sense here, especially if they take Sylvanus again on Dignitas, because that knockup is just another great setup for the Ross Knight, but the ban's coming through again. Dignitas on their side. Who will it be now? Probably a Hunter would be my guess to try to secure something decent for Rens in the lane. But I guess they could also ban out that Bacchus or the Geb if they don't want even more setup for Ra.
That was a curious choice. I like the idea of protecting Rens, but they're going to go your route, Bart, and just get rid of the Bacchus. Too much setup last time around, says Dignitas.
The other thing we didn't mention about Bacchus is the anti-heal, right? And that does factor in with Sylvanus versus the Ra. You know, it helps swing the heal really, really heavily in Fnatic's favor. But without another core healer on the side of Dignitas, this is just a respect ban. Like, they're just running scared a little bit from the Bacchus.
Hell, banned out by Fnatic. So
just a heads-up ban. It's the same bans as last time, but again, with Bacchus being banned, it's just another anti-healer. It just makes the Hell a little bit better, potentially. Might as well ban her, not deal with it.
Pick onto Team Dignitas here. They're going to go Apollo, so Ren's going to go the old escape artist Hunter here. Apollo has so many tools in his kit to really get out of jail free.
And he doesn't have any really bad lane matchups, so it's a safe Hunter pick into the counter pick from Realzx that should be pending here now. We could very well just see the Rama again. It set up fairly well. It has a decent matchup versus Apollo. I guess Hu could factor in here as well, as it is with the Geb, they'll have a fairly good team fight. But a little more risky there for the Hu. What will it be now?
So there's the Geb setup. So Geb will have setup on the ultimate. Shockwave, of course, can be used, but you have to be very quick. And the Ram selection one more time, allowing Reels to go Ram again, this time into Apollo. So Team Dignitas will be selecting their solo laner this time
it's
around.
Osiris. It's very, 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 very likely to be Osiris. Unless for some reason Variety just doesn't feel like he can win that matchup versus some Wukong. Solo and Janus. Solo and Kukulkan. Solo and Janus.
Solo and Janus. ShadowNightmare. Unless they're going to throw us for a loop, ShadowNightmare is the Kukulkan player on this team, right? And again, Kukulkan has been the reason.
Right. It's solo lane Thor. Jungle Janus.
Solo lane Sylvanus, support Thor. Haven't you watched Ataraxia?
Oh, the Ataraxia. Has he won with it yet?
I think that solo Sylvanus has won and support Thor won yesterday.
All right.
Obviously, maybe not obviously, but that's not what we're going to see today.
I'll see you in ranked.
We will see the Thor in the jungle as per usual, and ShadowNightmare going to be playing on his Kukulkan. So as I said,
Variety going to channel that inner Divios.
ShadowNightmare on this Kukulkan really, I mean, there were a lot of reasons, as I said in the pregame, for the catalyst that has really sparked Dignitas' recent upswing, right? Part of it was the expansion onto Super
Tom, you're the catalyst that sparks my upswing.
Part of it was the announcement about Super Regionals being expanded. Part of it was
part of it's your haircut,
an overall feeling of
part of it's the way you dress.
Stuff. I mean, part of it was just me, right? Just my presence alone. But on a realistic note, Dignitas, the Kukulkan, was a big part of what helped Team Dignitas do well. And we've even seen a respect ban on the Kukulkan against this Dignitas squad. Now, there's not as much setup as we usually see for it on Dignitas, but we'll see how it works out anyway.
None.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, at least nothing that's really reliable. You have, I guess, the Janus portal can make it happen. You have a Ren's Mez, and you have FrezzOO's ultimate. FrostiaK's Thor CC chain is doable, although pretty high risk, because if you miss 2 ultimates, you're going to lose the fight. So, yeah. But anyway, Dignitas, they got the setup. Not their natural setups of the Athena and the Freya that are probably the most desirable, or even the Bacchus and the Naja, pretty good at that as well. They'll ban some of those away, and some will get drafted away from them. Nonetheless, here we go. Game number 2 underway. Fnatic going to try to 2-0 Dignitas here. Dignitas looking for a split to keep themselves in the running for a top 4 finish to the end of this split. Split. 36 seconds in. Let's go.
Very high clear from both of these mages in the mid lane. Ra is one of the best wave clears. Really only outdone by Kukulkan, maybe Isis.
Yeah.
So there's...
But not in the same way, right? Like, the thing about those 2 gods is their ability to clear the waves and then just go stand under tower. Right, where... some of the other clear gods, Janus and Isis, and these gods that do have good clear.
They have to stand there.
They have to stand there, yeah. So it's more like the Poseidons and the Kukulkans and the Ras all have a fairly similar play style in the mid lane.
Just fire and forget. But don't forget, this is the same matchup that we saw in, well, not the same matchup, but the same side of Fnatic that we saw in game number 1. You saw just how potent the ring and the quick wave clear can be. So Fnatic able to push out Team Dignitas early in the mid. Quite the opposite on the left side. As the dual lane for Fnatic pushed underneath their tower by the push of Apollo Sylvanus by Team Dignitas.
Apollo Sylvanus should have the edge here. Pretty substantially in the push.
Yeah, so beautiful. Will clear the wave a little bit faster than those astral arrows.
Also beautiful, plus the wisps and the AoE in hands from FrezzOO to help Apollo maintain that aggressive positioning versus the enemy minions. Not too worried about taking 50 damage here or there from an archer shot, as well as, yeah, you mentioned, so beautiful on Audacity. Very, very good at clearing the lane.
Geb will help out just a little bit. maniaKK, on the other hand. So we've got Fnatic pressure.
I would really hate to play this matchup.
The Sun Wukong versus Janus.
I mean, yeah. Every time you get hit by Jingu Bang, I mean, it's like, at the early stages of the game, it's like a quarter of your health each time with Blue Sun Pendant, so.
I wonder what we'll see maniaKK build into. Obviously, the boots are going to be finished. We'll see if he goes right into magical damage, because one of the big things that Dignitas have on their side.
Ready for this?
What am I
ready?
Yeah?
Yep.
I like it.
I like it.
I like it. That's generally what you see physical mids by when they're up against a mage. So
yeah.
You might see some of the
Well, he's got to get some kind of mitigation item versus the Janus, unless he finds a kill here in like the next couple minutes. Eventually, that Stable Vortex just hurts too much to just continually eat them.
Exactly. So I think we'll see the Anchile, maybe something. I don't think we'll see a Stone of Gaia, but it's possible.
No, it's likely to be something like a Rune Forge just for more base HP. That would be probably the most greedy build. Same thing, or a Frostbound Hammer for that same matter. But yeah,
mixing up your mallets there, Bart.
Maybe you know, something like that. So what?
Mixing up your mallets.
Mixing up my mallets. What do you mean?
You said Rune Forge instead of Frostbound.
No, either one of them I think will be fine for the HP. Is what I'm getting at there.
Okay,
he could build into a raw HP item that still has some hybrid damage on it. Could be a High of the Urchin here.
That's one of my favorite items that I feel is underpurchased, especially going up against this Team Dignitas roster. So by putting the mage in the mid lane, you have a nice balance. If you look at Fnatic's lineup, you've got Zyrhoes' damage that you have to worry about. Nobody's going to build against again, right?
Right.
So with that in mind, it's just Zyrhoes on the magical side of things. When it comes to Dignitas, by putting Janus in the solo lane, you have Janus and ShadowNightmare magical that you have to worry about, and the Hunter and the Thor that you have to worry about. That is an even spread of damage that you have to be concerned about. Urchin is a prime choice here for Fnatic.
Yeah, the build-up's a little awkward, though, in the solo lane, is that you're not going to get stacks unless you get some really, really nice ganks and early and often.
maniaKK does like to rotate.
That's true. Yeah. It'll take a little bit to make that work, or a nice team fighting phase. But it is some Wukong. He may just go Mail of Renewal.
Why not?
You never know. I mean, like the Sun Wukong passive is really quite good at keeping you alive against bursts. So I don't know, man. We'll see. He is the maniac. He knows best.
Does he? Best place in North America.
Oh, he probably knows him. He doesn't know Jeremy.
Hung out with him once or twice.
Yeah,
he's good to LAN.
He's a good guy.
We'll see. LAN should be interesting. Super regional. So we're in week number 7 here of our fall split. It's a 10-week season of play here in our fall split. So after that, we'll head to super regionals, which, as I referenced before, 6 teams from each region will be invited. We're going to have 12 teams here in the studio, Bart. That's going to be absolutely...
It's a lot of nerds, Tom.
It's going to be crazy.
It's a lot of Smite players.
It's going to be absolutely insane. Should be a lot of fun. Should be a ton of fun. I love our interactive events.
A lot of food purchased from the gas station right up the road from here.
and the local Arby's.
There's an Arby's and like a gas station right across the street from each other, like stone's throw from the studio. So they'll be seeing a lot of business, I'm sure.
And for what it's worth, we bring food. There's usually food
we cater.
here.
Yeah.
But the players just want Arby's and chicken nuggets.
Well, yeah. I mean, not everybody likes vegetables.
Sandwiches.
Yeah. Well, they have vegetables on them.
That's true. No lettuce, please. No pickles.
No pickles, no lettuce, no tomato, no onion.
It's a pickle, a vegetable. Because it's cucumber, right?
Yeah.
But does it still maintain its vegetable title?
Well, the real question is a cucumber a vegetable?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Really?
I believe cucumber is a fruit.
So it's like it's in disguise like a tomato.
Yeah, it's seeded. It has seeds, so that makes it a fruit.
Is that the distinction?
It is one of them, yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So all of our tournaments are vegetables because we seed them.
Because we seed them.
All
no,
right.
that would make them fruits.
Right. Okay, they're fruits. Interesting. Not bad.
Come back off that limb, Tom. Come right back in. 6 minutes into this one, guys. 0-0 Fnatic for Dignitas. Nothing really cooking. This one's been pretty quiet here so far.
Yeah. Teams getting a little stir crazy.
Now a pitted fruit.
All right.
Still a fruit.
So plum?
Plum is a
fruit because it's a pit.
Because it's stoned. It is a stoned fruit is what they're known as.
You got to expand on that.
Well, the pit is called a stone.
Oh, okay.
So it's a fruit with a stone fruit.
And the difference between a pit and a seed is just the size? Or a pit does not germinate?
Because there's only one pit, right? There's multiple seeds, but only one pit, one stone in the fruit. And
okay.
Yeah.
Does a pit germinate? Can you plant a
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't think so.
Different from the cluster berries, which do have seeds in them as well.
All right.
But that's why they're berries, if they have the clusters.
Like blackberries.
Like blackberries, raspberries.
I used to pick them up in New Hampshire, actually.
That's why grapes aren't berries.
Ah. Now, grapes are interesting. You can get seeded grapes and seedless grapes.
Right, but they aren't really seedless. They've just been, like, genetically engineered to have very, very, very small seeds that you don't taste. Right, similar to watermelons. Still have the white ones, not the black ones.
Interesting. Watermelon Talk presented to you by...
Shout out to maniaKK.
I was just going to bring that up. maniaKK. The watermelon god out there. Is he coaching these days?
No. He streams for Noble, I believe, like old competitive online.
Like competitive online, 2032?
Yes, like Mr. 2032 himself.
maniaKK, always streaming. A lot of streams coming out from the Smite scene these days. 7:30 on the clock, 0-0. Read the kills, and the gold tell quite the same story. Dignitas just a little bit ahead, looking to pit themselves just a little bit. And here comes maniaKK Aggressed, and we've got first blood out of FrostiaK on the right-hand side. Solo laner falls. Fnatic think about taking the gold Fury in response, but opt not to.
A little surprising there. That right there is Kukulkan. That's Kukulkan.
Yep.
If it's not Kukulkan there, they're like, yeah, let's just take it.
It's the constant threat.
That's the threat.
And as I said, that was the thought process of Dignitas, really, when they picked this Kukulkan. It's something different. The first time I spoke to them, the answer was, Shadow just likes to play different stuff. And then it kept happening, and I was like, Ren's, really, what's up? And he told it to us publicly as well, that the objective secure is a large part of what brings the Dragon into these games. It's just too much of a threat, not just the ultimate, but also the tornadoes. You know where the Gold Fury is going to be tanked.
Right.
You drop a tornado there, what happens is the aggressing team either has to leash it or bring the Gold Fury towards the enemy team, put themselves in a dangerous position. So, smart choice by Fnatic to avoid the Kukulkan draft. Really changes your game plan.
But they have the Ra. You know, and like, Spirit of the Nine wins, Tempest of the Nine wins?
Spirit of the Nine wins. The latest Final Fantasy.
Yeah. It does, I think, a little bit more damage than the Ra's Celestial Beam. Let's look at it. Yeah, it's 400 to 800 base with 120%. The scaling is really the big difference, right? Base is the same at and a little bit less scaling there, and the base doesn't excel as high for Searing Pain, but obviously the cooldown's much shorter. Is that, do you think it's a lack of confidence from Zyrhoes to secure the objective, or do you think it's just a maybe overconfidence in how good ShadowNightmare is at securing objectives?
I think it's more of the latter, but I don't want to say overconfidence. I think it's a legitimate threat because it's not just the ultimate. Again, the tornado is really important. You drop the tornado on the obvious spot where they're going to tank it. The team either has to leash it or come towards the enemy team. You're forcing them to fight. Then you have the ultimate online. And, of course, the power coming out from Ra's passive is movement speed. Kukulkan's passive is more power, which goes to that 120 scaling. It's going to hit more. It's going to hit harder. So I think it's more confidence in ShadowNightmare's Kukulkan, and I think it's a legitimate concern. Here in the mid-camps, this might be some trouble. Captain Twig getting aggressed on. He can't get out of there. The wall prevented his escape. Help from his teammates is just not there. Thor is up, and he'll land down. Doesn't need to. On for the kill. FrezzOO gets it with us.
We couldn't really see it there because of the geometry, but he actually ulted that Thor while the Thor was ulting. Like, he started up right as Thor started it. Then that's what Captain Twig... You saw him just kind of like walk around like, wait, what happened? And then died.
Right.
So unfortunate there, but Dignitas takes a 2-0 lead, and they're looking pretty good here for an early Gold Fury contest into this Fnatic squad. They've won a couple of early skirmishes, and now with that momentum, can they get something out of it and break this one open? Still pretty close, experience damn near even, about 1,000 gold separating the teams for now. Najah's
a character, I know I harped, not just spoke, I harped on the fact that Najah can set up very well, but damage is still a core component of what he brings to a team. And if a Najah falls behind, it's problematic. It's not quite an Ares from behind. You can still impact the team fights. And one kill isn't going to take Captain Twig off the map. But if this becomes a trend, if we start to see 2-3 deaths on this Najah before anything gets going, that will be problematic for Fnatic. They need to make sure that this sort of stops here.
Well, it's one of the primary deficiencies of the God is that if you ult a CC immune target, it just does nothing.
Right.
Right? Where you've seen gods like, for example, Kumba get some readjustment so that even ulting into a CC immune target gives you a moderate amount of damage. Najah, not the benefactor of a treatment like that. So you saw it really play out there, right? I mean, he ults Thor at a fairly low HP, and Thor still doesn't die because Najah ultimate doesn't fire.
Right. Problematic. We'll see. I mean, and again, going towards what you were talking about, CC immunity, Magi's Blessing. It's not an item because it's so expensive and it just doesn't benefit you enough. It's a direct counter to Najah, also tier worth noting. But it's a direct counter to Najah, but again, you don't really have the luxury to build it. If Dignitas build this lead up to where they have luxury gold, you can see that
Magi's Najah out of the game, pretty much.
Exactly. And then it just becomes, well, Ring Toss is going to lower our protections. Oh, no.
Take a look at the Wukong here. We talked a little bit about his itemization path. It looks like it's going to be the old Tier 2 shenanigans.
Yeah, so Emerald Talisman here, if we can mouse over it. This won't be completed until later, if at all. It just provides so many raw stats. Health, magical protection. 100 health and 50 magical protection is a lot.
Variety baits out maniaKK, but FrostiaK off the mark with that Thor ultimate, and now he's forced to run as well. Things could get hairy there pretty quickly. But yeah, it'll likely be that heavy hammer as well, and before going into well, who knows what'll go fourth, actually. But I expect those two rank 2 items to be completed. Najah, Ring Toss, not in time, just barely. Will find FrostiaK there, though. Beads are popped. Mjolnir's 2 minutes away. It's Captain Twig feeling the ultimate. He's not. No.
Unfortunately,
but Ring Toss just barely doesn't make it to Janus in time. I think it ran out of hits, actually, is what happened there.
That was just... That was the kill that could have catapulted Captain Twig.
Well, we saw that yesterday. We saw that in the last game, right? That same kind of flank come out of the
With
Bacchus,
right?
And find the kill, which really helped break the game open. Right around the same timing too. So, shout outs to Fnatic for the patented Tier 2, Tier 1 proxy gank.
I mean, maniaK has just on schedule pushed people out of lane. Around this 10-ish minute mark with Fire Giant hanging out, but not really killable yet for the teams. maniaK repeatedly pushes out these solo laners.
Well, we've seen him play a little bit of a different side of some Wukong than what we've seen out of the top North American contenders, right? It's very lane-focused here. And in the fights, he's not just instantly diving the backline. Only in one of the last fights of game number 1 did he really, really extend way past his team, past the tower they were taking. He's been very teamfight oriented and been focused on dealing his Sun Wukong damage to single targets that they're trying to kill more so than being disruptive. So it's a little bit of a different play style out of maniaK, but successful.
The Master's wills. That's what I've noticed. A stat that we don't have that I wish we did was number of times abilities were cast. I see so many of these Master wills coming out, almost more so than the cat stuns, almost, when it comes to team fights. And it's very interesting because, as you said, he's not just going directly to the backline, getting a stun and looking for the kills. That's largely what Twig has been brought to is bringing to the team, and the Bacchus when we had him last time around. So maniaK's job earlier was just slow everybody, get
Gank
the
being
blue
set up
stone
here.
proc
Variety, they have the wards, they have Thor as well. FrostiaK will dodge the stash toss for now, but you can tell that the pressure has been felt by Dignitas. They're keeping Thor pretty close over here on the side of Variety. And you saw that one cat stun into ability combination from maniaK does the better part of Variety's HP last time it did go down. So, and Variety is not showing any willingness to build into physical defense. He really wants to make his way through this lane. And to his credit, he hasn't died yet with these more greedy items. So it's working out okay for Dignitas, but they're putting their Thor behind a bit, about a level behind Twig for now.
How effective is the Janus if you're forced to build into the defensive items, though? Isn't that...
Right, it's pointless.
That's largely the game you're playing when you pick a mage in the solo lane, which for so long in our Smite meta scene has been, don't play it, you get invaded and die. Now invasions are a little bit harder to pull off, so we do see these mages come out sparingly in the solo lane, but what winds up happening is the game you play there is largely... The game that was very interesting with the wards. The game you play there is largely
you're conceding a lot.
Hold on until hopefully I don't die, because then I'm a mage later on.
But he's ahead of the net worth over some Wukong who did die earlier on. I mean, it's looking pretty good for him, right? Like what you would expect out of a mage in the solo lane is essentially, I'm going to concede a lot of minions underneath my tower. I'm going to be forced out of lane a couple times. I don't want to really buy teleport. To I'll get a bit behind, but it'll make it up with my damage in the later stages of the game. But here, Janus is ahead. Variety, he's not winning the lane necessarily versus Wukong 1v1, but the way it's worked out, he's ahead, and he's doing quite nicely for himself.
And you're not going to win
so far by Variety.
You're not going to win the lane against Wukong.
No.
I mean, the wave clear with the blue stone and the jingle bang is just too much, and I would even venture that's not Variety's goal. Variety's goal is to tread water long enough to be a scary Janus later on.
Well, he's done it, basically. It's level 17. He's got his core items online.
He's pulled it off very well.
Well, we haven't seen that big ultimate rotation yet out of the Janus, which is we're still pending, one would think, here.
I always love Apollo Mez as we visit our duo lane for the first time. Pretty much all game, it's been very quiet here. Both Hunters sporting zeros on their slash lines. Mid, though, there's a fight
Twig
here.
Gets pulled in by FrezzOO here. Oh. FrezzOO with the jukes there. He juked the Sap Sauce in the choke. Nicely played. Likely preventing a death there as well. FrostiaK moving forward on the Thor, but not going to throw out the wall for now. It looks like it'll just be look at each other, throw a couple abilities on this left side camp, and then fall back towards their respective domains.
I like the non-ultimate rotation from Rens.
You know what I like?
What do you like,
Sprint
Bart?
for Ram.
Sprint?
Sprint.
Likely be built into a heavenly agility.
Should be.
That'll help not just the team get out of jail, Captain Twig most notably, but Zyrhoes, heals, awesome.
Well, it's really so I think he can kill Apollo. Right? Like if Apollo mezzes,
chase him down,
and then moves away, that's the only way you're going to catch him is with a sprint. Speaking of Apollo, he's going to attempt to solo the Gold Fury here. The rest of the team rotating in. It doesn't look like Fnatic knows what's up just yet. Here comes Badgah. Now they know. Spirit of the 9 wins. Doesn't matter. Secured in time. Badgah moves in. Now finds himself in a bad position. Slowed down drastically by that Kukulkan. And that will be a clean Gold Fury from Dignitas in what is quickly becoming the signature calling card of this squad. In the meantime, with the rotation coming up from some Wukong, that means Variety gets himself a Tier 1 tower on the right side and continue to play forward. He has that Janus ultimate. down. So no, he is going to fall back. I'm sorry. It was expended in the last engagement.
Dignitas largely doing what Fnatic did last game around was get small leads, chip away, then take a big objective in the Gold Fury. Now that time they did just get the Gold Fury. They snuck it, right?
Oh, yeah, Gold Fury and a tier 1 tower, right? I mean, it wasn't just that. It's a pretty big gold swing, in fact. 3,500 gold or so going their way between those two objectives. So, pip, pip, cheerio.
That puts Team Dignitas about 4,000 gold in the lead. Huge swing, as you said, for the squad in red on the right side. Important, though. We see that happen. We see the Hunter solo or attempt to solo the Gold Fury a lot. And then what usually happens is the enemy shows their face around 30%, and the Hunter walks away because, oh well. Fnatic, by drafting this Kukulkan, or more importantly, high burst damage mage, 30% is all you need because then the mage comes and basically hogs it.
Well, we were very wrong about Wukong. It will be full Stone of Gaia and a Rune Forge Hammer.
There you go.
Because stack HP, a little bit of magic defense, some regen as well, and a bit of damage coming out of the health from the Stone of Gaia. It's a nice little itemization setup. Quick little pause there. It looks like it's coming right back around, though. But, you know, Fnatic.
Down 4K.
Yeah, they're I wouldn't say they're on the ropes just yet, but they're certainly on the back foot here as Dignitas has shown their ability to secure that objective, and that's where Fnatic is going to have to find a win. You know, they'll need a couple Gold Furies to get back into this one, certainly. It will all just come off of kills and towers to get back into this one, but speaking of kills, in a bit of trouble is FrostiaK here. Twig wants to move forward with the kept shield. Oh, first hit root from FrezzOO. Get wrecked. Get wrecked. RNG, not in his favor today. Looks like FrezzOO, oh, Spirit of 9 wins, going to hit 2. Luckily, Twig is able to aegis that one, and that could have been very ugly for the Najah. FrezzOO will make his way out at going through the Janus portal, getting that little bit of bonus movement speed from the threshold. Nicely played there by the Thor as well. He moves forward to get out of the way of Cataclysm. Will find Zyrhoes on the backside there. Variety pops his beads as well. In the meantime, ShadowNightmare's down to Badgah. FrezzOO somehow still alive in this fight. What the heck? Realzx misses his crippling shot, unfortunately, but FrostiaK is dead to rights here. He will go down to maniaKK as well. Trying to kill Badgah here is the Janus, but it looks like they'll concede FrezzOO for this one here as he's moved too far forward, and Ram has got the shots out onto him. The cripple 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Missing the basics out of Realzx, this could be problems.
There we go. Okay. They'll get it. Janus is still here, although he's likely just a recall.
Yeah, he's going to find safety in his opponent's jungle.
Badgah's still alive.
Badgah on the side. He's hiding behind this Harpy, but the Harpy will eventually die. There it is. iRens now.
What a player. He's going to suicide the minions. Has it been enough time? Because it takes quite some time in Smite for this to cool down.
Badgah drops the ward.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He's out.
He's out. He's clean and clear. Very, very, very well played by Badgah. Again, hiding behind that minion, gets out no problem.
Well, let's not forget that was the fire giant that he was like a one hit at, and then he managed to make it all the way to that bat camp and then survive long enough for rollout to come back off of cooldown. Badgah.
That was one of the better plays we've seen. I don't know if you guys heard it on the microphone. Bart literally just clapped. It was a fantastic play out of Fnatic support to help him survive, and what was otherwise largely a sloppy fight here. maniaKK might be in some trouble. He's going to
great positioning here by FrostiaK.
Ooh, the wall. Even if it didn't stun, it would have put maniaKK in some trouble. And the last basic out of FrostiaK allows him to get the kill before maniaKK goes up into the ultimate. FrostiaK getting aggressive, lands on top of Realzx, who was trying to back, and another fantastic wall out of the jungler. That's going to send Realzx into the air. He'll survive for a couple more seconds, but he's going to land right into a tornado.
And the root from Sylvanus. A little bit of synergy showing itself there. Meantime, Twiggy got a lot done on the left side. He finds himself a tower. He'll get most of the mid as well. He'll bounce the ring around, slowing down Apollo, giving himself the movement speed, and away you go.
Ring is that's why I love Ring.
Yeah.
That's why I love the ring toss. But largely a sloppy fight. I didn't get a chance to say it, but Fnatic, I think the key to Fnatic coming back into this game and taking it away from Team Dignitas, if they do get a chance to, is team fights. The team fights from Fnatic have proven to be fantastic in the last game, and Dignitas have gotten a lot of their leads off of small picks here and there or surprise objectives. Fnatic wants a team fight. Fortunately, the last one was really sloppy, and FrostiaK takes out the support before anybody even gets here to fight from Fnatic.
Yeah, not sloppy was that setup. It's the Thor wall into the Kukulkan ultimate with Mjolnir's team with a tremendous amount of burst damage is enough to kill the Geb there. And the tier 1 as well, although it was stalled reasonably well by Fnatic. Still, the lead continues to extend from Dignitas now back up to that 4K mark.
Captain Twig here on this Najah. You said he has done a lot of structure damage. That's another thing that Najah brings to the table, a la Mercury or Fenrir with his second ability, the steroid, the Howl,
Seething Howl.
the Seething Howl, that allows these assassins out of the jungle to deal so much tower damage. And iRens looking to repeat his performance from earlier in the game. He's soloing the.
And it looks like this one's free again for Dignitas.
Yeah, there's no vision from Fnatic here around the objective, and started by the Hunter, finished by the team. Team Dignitas pick up another Gold Fury. That puts them about 5,500 gold.
Beats
in
3
the lead.
there to make it in that fight. Looks like strange choice.
Possibly.
Oh, they're down. I mean, he used them. It was either for cooldown or because he got CC'd. I didn't see the start of it, but now that is down, and they should know that. Variety, he's going to Aegis away from Twig, who move forward with a Sash Toss. He's forced to ult out of this fight, as so often is the case for Najah, and he's going to pop his 2 and look to go fight the Thor.
Huge crit, though.
For now, that's successful. Yeah, you mentioned he got that first hit crit, and now it's Thor on the run. FrostiaK, he's going to be dead with a couple hits. Yeah. Aegis not so great against Najah because it just allows him to advance the hit chain. And here is Sun Wukong going to try to disrupt the backside. Fighting 3 members, there comes the Ox form to get them out of there.
Dodges the root.
Rens moves forward, putting out those Audacity hits, but he's fighting into Reals, and that'll be that for now. Fnatic makes up, well, they actually come out a little bit behind in that one, I think.
For now.
The gold continued to extend a bit from Team Dignitas for the duration of that fight, so Dignitas, they're going to try to 4-man down the mid lane now.
Yeah, this is the move that Dignitas want to make. Look like they don't want to make it. I agreed with it, honestly. Dignitas, they have the gold lead.
They can siege there a little bit, I think. I don't think they get the tower, but they can get about 50% probably.
Deciding to play it safe. Fnatic does have the Ra on deck, which you have to be afraid of. The re-siege capability, just the ability to heal up in between these team fights, is largely a problem. So Team Dignitas opting to err on the side of caution and just walk away.
Thor build. Not the most outrageous thing, but a little bit off the norm. It'll be Jotuns, Brawlers into Spirit Robe, and then a Titan. So the max pen, not necessarily out of the norm, but build order a little bit off here.
Yeah, the Spirit Robe and the Jotuns, very, very standard. But the Brawlers beat Stick. Usually we see the Titans come in that place, and then the Brawlers later, or sometimes even the Transcendence. And FrostiaK, not liking the Transcendence, because usually the time to build Transcendence third item on Thor is when you're ahead, just looking for these kills, and FrostiaK going for the more, I don't want to say support, but the more utility build in the cooldown reduction from the Spirit Robe, and it also just allows him to be a little bit more tanky, specifically when being engaged on by that Najah. Spirit Robe, of course, gives you protection. It lowers the damage you take after being CC'd, and Najah's entire deal is dealing damage to you via CC.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like this set has had a ridiculous amount of Aegises that have really factored in super hard. Like, not that they've been purchased at an accelerated rate, but just like the Aegis has factored in very, very high into this matchup, and a lot of that is due to, I think, ShadowNightmare's God Pool. And we've had Ra's and Kukulkans on both sides, so there's a lot of opportunity for spells to be evaded. FrostiaK, not going to get the crit in time as Captain Twig. Would have probably needed 2 shots anyway. Missing that slow ShadowNightmare, and that'll mean probably a disengage now from Team Dignitas. Had they hit that, maybe Thor goes back in. Unlikely still. But for now, it's a 5-man grouping on the right side. A little bit surprised to see Realzx make his way over here instead of split pushing. But the lane was just so pushed, they have to respect the Fire Giant on the right side of the map. And indeed, Fnatic will, conceding a bit of farm to prevent the objective play.
It forces the ultimate out of iRens, so the Apollo ultimate is down. No more across the skies for a minute plus. And of the Hunter on the side of Team Dignitas. So the rotation ability out of Dig is down for about a minute.
That's a word.
It is now.
Rotation ability.
Rotation ability.
The ability to rotate.
Yes.
Defined as. Zyrhoes tossing out some Celestial Beams, get that MS. Hunting in the right side jungle is Fnatic. Not going to find anybody from Dignitas for the moment. They really were looking for that pick and Fire Giant. It's kind of like Netflix and chill, but it's pick and Fire Giant this fight.
I don't know about that one, but a tornado is going to mess up Fnatic just a little bit, separating Captain Twig from the rest of the team, all because of that one tornado. Twiggy's ultimate is up.
But hold on. It was a Wrath of Terra into a 3-man Thor stun that they got literally nothing out of.
Yes, that's problematic as Fnatic has all of their ultimates up. The only ones up on the side of Dignitas are 2 burst mage ults.
I don't think Dignitas should pursue this here.
Setups.
ShadowNightmare is going to take half of his HP from the Najah ultimate. Raw Snipe not on the mark there to finish that one off. Janus comes through as the Spirit of the 9 wins. Rama up in the sky trying to find his shots on the Kukulkan. But as you mentioned, the ultimates are still on advantage to Fnatic, but not anymore. They dump all of theirs and also don't find any kills. A sloppy fight. But guess what is up? Across the skies.
So is Ra's heal, which sometimes feels like an ultimate.
Yeah.
He's able to heal up, but here comes Kukulkan dropping a tornado right in the path of Fnatic as they walk away, and Ra's able to heal it up.
Apollo, is there teleport 3 up? Yeah, teleport 3 is up for Wukong. So, you know, there's a chance there that he crosses the skies and just takes a Gold Fury for free, as it comes up right now. But I think with teleport 3 from Wukong, they could have maybe stopped that, although there isn't really wards on the left side of the map. But no way, really, for Dignitas to know that. Either way, here goes Apollo. He's going to likely start this one up right after taking this mid camp.
Yeah, Apollo Rens is, and this is largely what we see out of Rens on Team Dignitas.
Wow,
no, going right for the split push here. Ren's going to push the lane, and again, this is what we see out of Rens, and we see a lot of Freya being selected by this character, or this player rather, and Apollo really fits the playstyle, because what Team Dignitas opts to do, they largely will fight without Rens, leaving him in the Hunter lane. Just farm. Just do your thing, and then later on, your Freya surprise, right? By putting him on the Apollo, they get to do the same thing. Now, he's not as hyper carry-esque in the late game as the Freya that they usually like to stick him on, but they can still isolate him in that lane and just let him push all day. Ram shows up though, and that'll deter the split push idea coming out.
Yeah, well, he forced out the Sun Wukong teleport to towers there. And then fell back safely to his team, and then that makes time for Ram to move over, but it is a big active use by maniaKK to prevent that tower from going down. Through 30 minutes, this one pretty slow. 11 kills, 4-7 in favor of Dignitas. They've taken the objective soundly. They've built themselves a 5,000 gold lead, but that 5,000 gold becomes less and less valuable the later this game goes. Things are getting fairly close here, and most players are getting close to level 20 in the core positions. The support's sitting around 15, 16.
That engagement right there out of the Thor. It's more than just a stun, it's a wall, and right now being used onto maniaKK, immediately forced in the ultimate as there's 4 players in Dignitas jerseys just aggressing on this Wukong. He's able to make it out.
Well, it's kind of the issue, right? Without Spirit of the Nine Winds or without the Apollo, it's going to be very hard for them to burst down maniaKK now with these offensive items before it gets up into that Somersault cloud. They just don't have that crit damage.
Yeah, and after a Jotun's Wrath, after a quick reprieve away from 2 direct defensive items right into the Mail Renewal. So Jotun's Wrath and, I guess, Power Boots, the only real offensive items outside of the Bluestone Pendant.
Yeah, luckily for him, Jotun's Wrath gives you every stat that matters.
And 11 penetration.
Right, it's pen, power, and cooldown reduction.
Yeah, let's take a look at it. Jotun's Wrath, one of the more iconic items. We never talk about it because it's just so popular. Gives you 40 physical power. Don't forget, Deathbringer is 50. So that's a large amount.
I would say it's pretty much a toss-up between this item and Executioner for being the most overstated items in the game.
Variety takes a spill, or Badgah takes a spill off of Variety. As Stolen Janus comes into play. Mez just a little bit too slow as the ultimate used defensively by Captain Twig to get out of jail. And now, coming around the backside is Team Dignitas. Fnatic was trying to escape, but Realzx
with the snipes there, that was nasty.
Hot assist from the tower.
Yeah, catches them on the way back, gets the assist from the tower as you mentioned. Realzx safely very far back in this fight for now. And it looks like with the Raw still alive, they should have a decent chance at stalling this wave out. No, maniaKK will die to the dot. Ooh. Ouch.
Team Dignitas wind up on the, well, they get 2 kills, right? They wind up on the top side. They only trade 1.
But they don't have their Apollo now, so this siege gets very slow. And comes down to somehow finding Thor some melee shots on the tower. It's really just push the minion wave in a couple times and stall out.
Kept Twig's ultimates down, otherwise this fight might go very different. I think we might see an engagement onto Kukulkan if the Naja has the Windfire wheels, but unfortunately for Fnatic, not online, and very fortunately for Team Dignitas, they go ahead and they take the tower part, and that goes ahead. They put themselves 7,000 gold in the lead.
Map control isn't huge from Dignitas. The ward advantage is on their side, and they've taken the tower closest to the Fire Giant. But they're only up by 1 tower here. Tier 2s are still standing, and 2 of the lanes for Fnatic. All 3 for Dignitas, of course. But old Fnatic's Badgah here.
No problem.
They'll roll away. Gather no moss.
Good old Guardian. No problem. Ward war won by Fnatic. Badgah was able to take out the ward. It was dropped by Dignitas on top of the Fire Giant.
So when's it going to happen? Right? Like, eventually they're going to fight.
It's a lot of hurry up and wait. And
yeah.
Fnatic has... The key here was for Fnatic to fight when they were down by 3,000 gold. After that first Gold Fury, that really was the window of opportunity. I think that Fnatic
pull full your head, you mean?
Exactly.
Yeah,
I think that Fnatic has the better team fight. And Dignitas understands that.
Yeah,
they're
I think
finding
Dignitas has definitely been dodging, right? I mean, they've been dodging these fights, and they've been doing a really nice job of it. And that's how they've built this advantage. But eventually, Fnatic has to force a fight, or this one's just going to continue to just fall away from them, right? And this keeps on happening. Badgah moves forward, he gets walled, he shields himself, he rolls out, and then they don't fight. But now the Fire Giant has been started, and now on our way we go. Captain Twig's got one up in the air. Spirit of the Nine Winds comes down perfectly timed from ShadowNightmare, and it is enough to clean up the Naja. Oh, no, it's not enough to clean up Naja. It is Apollo that goes down from the Raw Snipe as well. But nicely timed for both of those mid lane mages. Walking Age is going to be used by Variety to make his way out of the fight. FrostiaK just trying to chip away with Mjolnir's attunement. And now, after they finally get a proper 5v5, Fnatic finds themselves ahead by 2 kills, and a Fire Giant going to be coming their way as well. And Dignitas, it just takes one fight. After 30 minutes in the game, this is why these kind of spread the map and dodge the fight compositions often find themselves in a bit of trouble, because now you lose one fight at the Fire Giant, and all of a sudden it's a huge advantage to Fnatic. And very realistically, this game is now even with the Fire Giant buff. They'll take whatever towers and structures they want, and potentially even break the base here on the side of Fnatic. So
yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said this is. The Fire Giant essentially makes these two teams even. Fnatic with that big swing, they'll pick up some towers, which will change this very quickly. But right now, there's 6,000 gold on the side of Team Dignitas that Fnatic doesn't have. Right. And all this gold that Fnatic is going to be picking up here is gold that they're not spending. We're not going to see them back with that Fire Giant, most likely, until they feel like they can't get any more. So this 6,000 gold here, it's still a very much lead, but the Fire Giant will just provide so much, allowing Fnatic to be as aggressive as they are right now. They're going to put somebody up in the air and follow up. So ShadowNightmare, but the upside for Fnatic right here is problematic for Team Dignitas' goal to win.
FrostiaK slowed a bunch here. Walking Age is going to be used as well. They'll split the fight with those tornadoes, but Tier 2 still will fall to Realzx. That's 2 Tier 2s picked up now so far from that Fire Giant. FrostiaK ports forward Mjolnir's attunement. Lucky that there was no one there to follow that one up. maniaKK in position way in the back there. Perfectly happy to fight through the tornadoes. Son of Gaia, quite effective there. We'll eat a bit of burst, and yeah, will go down. Overextended a little bit too far there was maniaKK. Ram's Snipe's going to be used as well, but that'll be it for Fnatic. They'll take their 2 Tier 2s. Yeah. They'll pull ahead a bit in the map control game. They've cut the lead now down to about 3,500 gold. And they'll fall back. Let's take a look at gold in hand and see what Fnatic's going to be able to pick up. It's about 2K across the board for them, the lowest being 1,500 on Wukong. And they'll take a gold Fury on the side of Dignitas, though, to help alleviate some of the pressure that Fnatic put out.
Problematic play coming out of maniaKK. Now, we normally see out of these solo lane warriors, we normally see out of these solo lane warriors the ability to stand. You have the 4 players on your team behind, and then the warriors will stand a little bit ahead as Team Dignitas pick up the drive-by Gold Fury and then try to aggress on Fnatic's left-hand side. maniaKK was doing that, but he was just a couple of steps too far ahead and was just completely isolated instead of spacing. And that small difference winds up being what largely stops Fnatic's entire push with this Fire Giant.
Apollo does barely avoid a Sash Touch there right at the beginning of that retreat that does let him get out alive. 17 kills through 36 minutes now. Fairly close to 5,000 gold, negligible more or less at this point.
I hope we don't see 2 kills. I hope we don't see any kills for 2 minutes. Can you figure out why?
I know why.
Do you know why?
I know why.
Do you know why?
Of course I know why.
Can you see with your 2 eyes? Why?
I can, yeah. Not just my one.
7 to 10. Farm time are the kills, which means we have 17.
17 kills?
17 kills.
Not yet 38 minutes, though.
Not 38 minutes quite yet, but we'll get there as we're 36 and a half through the way. Fnatic have been on the downside of the game pretty much the whole way through. Fantastic play coming out from Team Dignitas, really executing their plan well. Fnatic have the upside when it comes to these team fights, and Dignitas have been avoiding them and largely just finding individual kills, double kills here and there. And there's been 2 fights. The first fight, Fnatic just lost by missed abilities, essentially. And the second fight, Fnatic won, but then Team Dignitas enticed maniaKK to separate himself from the team, and just that 1 kill was enough for Dignitas to sort of stop the pressure during that middle lane siege. They waste a minute or 2 and take Gold Fury, and now Fnatic is finally re-engaging, and there's not that much time left on this Fire Giant.
20 seconds left on the Fire Giant buff, but a couple picks here is the game for Fnatic. And run away.
Fnatic playing it safe. They understand that the lead is on Team Dignitas' side, not Fnatic's. Although being able to back and pick up the gold that they earned and pick up items from that, not a bad look. But Fnatic will.
Well, most of the goals on the side
way.
of Dignitas, it's just, you know, let's just wait and take another Fire Giant before we try to fight again. That's basically, I mean, that's all that's going on here. Which is a little, you know, we'll talk about that in a bit. We'll see if Badgah does end up getting picked here. Apollo's going to rotate in. Looks like Fire Giant fight may not be what ends up changing this game variety. He's going to go down to the Ross Knight Najah combination. Ring Toss is going to hit all 4 members of the team remaining. Summerstar Cloud used by maniaKK, and he can make his way to the backline if needed, but the retreat is on from Fnatic 4. Now it's a 4v5, or 4v4, I'm sorry, and everyone's going to run away in terror.
Well, we got to 38 minutes.
We did. We made it, but not 17 kills. Sorry, Tom.
It's very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Mid-camps go to Team Dignitas. Of course, it's almost 40 minutes.
It's weird to me, though. Like, I'm a little bit curious, a little concerned as to why Fnatic would elect to not try to assault the base there and instead go back for the second Fire Giant buff, considering that it's Kukulkan on the other side. And ShadowNightmare has shown a great proclivity for stealing, or at least securing objectives, which is the same thing as stealing them, right?
Right.
So it's a little bit strange to me that they would make that call and fight and basically guarantee that they're fighting into a situation in which Kukulkan has a chance to win the game for his team. Either way, Fnatic needs a couple picks before they feel safe doing anything on the map. So why not assault the base?
It's very interesting. It's a play, right? I don't want to say it's an unconfident play, but the respect of Dignitas, respect towards Dignitas, Fnatic plays it safe and they retreat because they're confident enough that they can take the fight at Fire Giant. So
yeah. You know, I guess so. I mean, but Kukulkan's just really out of position here. Not that Dignitas knows it. They see the Janus ultimate come through and they'll bail.
Mm-hmm. As soon as the Janus ultimate shows up, it's just a little bit scary. Here comes Dignitas.
I think if they were confident, they would have tried to break the base.
Well, Dignitas pulls right in, and that forces maniaKK to go ahead and follow up stun. No ultimates used just yet on either side of the squads. Janus is, of course, on cooldown, but his largely used to really get here. Not so much for damage in this composition. In goes Badgah, gets 2 in the stun, and the response is beads from Thor.
I feel like that was the first time we've seen an initiation out of Geb. It's been almost entirely Najah initiating for this team. Looks like they will be able to find a pick here. Spirit of the 9 wins. Ross Knight not used just yet. Zyrhoes has available. He doesn't, and that's why. FrezzOO, he's going to fall to the last shot here, and that's the Guardian down. All 5 members going to heal back up. And FrostiaK went in?
FrostiaK went in. FrostiaK gets a kill by going in. And boy, is he going in.
Hey, he kills Realzx, so that's nice. That's nice for them. Apollo is still living on the side of Dignitas, but Najah perfectly capable of killing this objective. It's a weird one.
Another thing that happens with this squad, which I don't think was the thought process in the drafting of Najah, but you give Dignitas such a wide open, or what seems like a wide open opportunity of setup for the mage ultimates, that you force out the Spirit of the 9 wins by doing the Najah ultimate. So it's not available for this Fire Giant fight.
That's true.
So, hey, I'm here. I'm such a tasty target. Very important by Fnatic. If you watch, they all spread because they know the ultimate's going to go right onto Captain Twig. So it only hits Twig, if at all, and then it's down for the objective. Now Fnatic, they did lose Realzx, so unable to take advantage of it. But that's a really big card that they have in their deck, able to play. Is that, hey, look at our fat target. You want to hit us with your ultimate? Haha. Now you can't use it to secure the objective.
Yeah, with the Spirit Robe, Najah should be able to reliably survive getting 1 shot from Spirit of the 9 wins. Rens, it's time for more farming. 41 minutes in, 6 slotted. Let me get that experience. This
is what we see out of Team Dignitas, and this is how they play their Hunter. But especially with the Apollo, no problem here.
He wants to push the wave out here. It's not about the gold.
Exactly. Yeah. Just allow him to split push. Apollo can push this all the way to the Phoenix, and then when somebody decides to show up, he can just hit eject. No problem.
Well, we're 6 slotted on most gods in the game right now. Janus still pending an item. Now you got Geb and Sylvanus obviously continuing to build up there as well, but everyone else pretty much maxed out here.
Look at Realzx.
42-minute mark.
Oh, I thought he was going to surprise Apollo. He was just waiting by that purple buff. Well, he was doing the purple buff, but he was waiting too. Captain Twig here over on the other side of the map with maniaKK over by the Fire Giant as Zyrhoes makes himself known as well.
Well, it's Dignitas' game to win still, it feels like.
Very much so.
Fnatic is running scared. I mean, Fnatic now, what was, in the middle stage of the game, it was Team Dignitas dodging fights. Now Fnatic dodging fights completely. They very clearly do not want to fight Dignitas now. And they know that the next fight has to happen to the objective, but it seems like Fnatic's kind of just waiting on something to be gifted to them. They're waiting for Dignitas to make a mistake that gives them, you know, an extra couple kills and lets them take the Fire Giant, because it doesn't look like they're willing to fight them at all, really. So in the meantime, Sun Wukong is forced to split off and defend from the Apollo because they need Ram here. So Dignitas effectively splitting the map. They're forcing Wukong out. He does have teleport to wards available, though, so he can make his way in. That's why you see him defending versus the Ram here. Janus is going to go back to the base to finish off his Soul Reaver. That's his final item of the game at 43 minutes here. Neither team showing a willingness to fight each other.
Yeah, team's just really playing it safe. And, hey, why not another Gold Fury? This will allow us to buy potions.
Yeah, maybe some red pots coming out here.
Team Dignitas take the Gold Fury.
I think it just feels good to take the Gold Fury.
It does. And I mean, largely at this point of the game, folks, I mean, with all the items built up, the gold lead, while not irrelevant, it's still a marker of how the swing of things is going. It's not. That's really all it is. It's just a marker. The gold lead, as far as actual lead, all the items are already completed.
Yeah. There's not much you're getting out of that. It just feels good. It's not even like a let's prevent them from taking, because they're all 6-slotted too. All right. Oh, Badgah moves forward again. Ring toss hitting 2 there, but no follow-up coming. Twig takes a ton of damage from that Janus ultimate. But the team not following it up on the side of Team Dignitas. They're perfectly happy with a poke for now. And Fnatic forced to fall back and heal up to Ram, but it doesn't look like Dignitas wants to let them. Moving forward is FrezzOO. Will he find the Wrath of Terror that he's looking for? Not for quite. Now. Not for now.
Gets a pull.
They'll pull Reals. I mean, that's probably the best target you can pull, but no real follow-up and beads immediately used by that Fnatic Hunter. Flank attempted by Apollo. They're not going to be able to turn the corner effectively. And still a 10-man engagement just outside of the Fire Giant. And the Tier 2, oh no, Tier 2 is down here for Fnatic. So it's actually a little bit of a sketchy position for Fnatic. They'll find FrostiaK. If they can somehow burst him here, that could be nice, but no, they won't.
He beats out.
Heavenly Agility was used there as well. It looks like they really wanted to pursue that kill, did Fnatic. But no, once again, we'll have a bit of poke and then some healing up from the Ra.
Important to note, Fnatic now has sort of control over over this area. The Team Dignitas was pushing into Fnatic's area of the map. Now Fnatic has pushed out with that Thor damage into Team Dignitas.
Oh, Twig's going to get a flank here. I don't think they have ward spotting this one out. And it doesn't look like FrostiaK or ShadowNightmare is aware. Here he comes, turning the corner. Ring. No, he's going to go straight for the sash. Ring going to come out. He missed the ring. He missed the ring at melee range. And he missed the ultimate. Twig, please!
That's the problem. That's the problem that we saw in the first engagement and allowed Team Dignitas to go ahead and take it. 2 very important abilities missed on the side of Fnatic. FrostiaK will get cleaned up here, and that's a good look for Fnatic. It is a 1-for-0 trade at the moment.
Are they going to take the 45 here and try to Fire Giant? I mean, last time they had this advantage, they ran away from it because of the threat of the Kukulkan.
Kukulkan ult just came back online, not using that last direct engagement used.
You can tell. I mean,
earlier.
Fnatic has zero desire to take this Fire Giant with anybody from Team Dignitas threatening it. But they've zoned it out. The call is out. Dignitas is going to concede this one. They're going to try to hold the base versus Fnatic here. And once again, Fnatic in the driver's seat for the second time in this game with a chance to win at the 45-minute mark.
Wow.
Fire Giant buff available. Phoenix is the only thing remaining between them and the Titan. 1 Tier 2 still remaining for Fnatic for what it's worth back on the blue side of the map.
Good recovery from Fnatic in that engagement off of those missed abilities, which were very large, able to still secure the kill via team.
Well, I mean, it's just basically the difference between them getting a pick and then wiping the team.
Exactly. And I really liked the play from Fnatic there as a team. Captain Twig had free reign. It was his job to take out the Thor. It didn't happen. The team helped him out and went ahead and got some kills.
That's nice. That should be enough to kill ShadowNightmare here.
Yes,
yeah, it is indeed. Ren's quite low as well, and they're in position to fight him. Jigabang off the mark. Cat stun. Not going to hit either. It's going to go into the Titan. 4 members available for Team Dignitas to try to hold out here versus the 5 strong of Fnatic.
Phoenix down.
But they got to go take more Phoenixes. They can't just go fight into this just yet. Twig will tank it for the moment. It's Reals that they need to stop, and they'll find the pluck onto him and the burst as well from the Unstable Vortex. But Beads plus Rolling Assault gets him out of there for now. And
comes Thor.
Here comes the team moving forward.
Great stun.
FrostiaK is going to survive there, just barely. I mean, he got pretty close to baiting his team in there because they all moved out of tower range.
Twiggy with another Aegis to avoid the double tap out of Thor. We've seen this play a couple of times here, and it saved his life just as many times as he's used it. And this is a big problem for Team Dignitas. With that Ra heal, Fnatic is able to keep doing this, and Team Dignitas has to go further to the well than Fnatic has to Ra heal.
Cat's not going to secure that one. The Phoenix is going to fall now as well, as they don't have a frontliner that can really prevent any of this damage from coming in. It's just FrostiaK variety. Rens falls to the snipe. That's a huge snipe from Zyrhoes to kill the only major threat remaining on the board. This should be the game for Fnatic with a 70-second respawn on Rens, 60 for FrezzOO, another 4 for ShadowNightmare. I don't think that a Kukulkan ultimate is going to be the difference between the game here. It's 9,500, 8K, 7K, 6K HP, and falling rapidly. Cataclysm used to zone. It's stunned out Kukulkan for some time. Now down under 3K. There's a Spirit of the 9 Winds. It erases Realzx. That's a big amount of the damage, but it's not enough. They haven't checked anybody else. The Mage doing a ton, and there it is. Fnatic will run through Team Dignitas.
Wow.
You know, and I think that ultimately in that game, it comes down to Dignitas just never picked a moment. You know, they had all this control. They had Fnatic running scared. They dodged fights successfully. They got farm up. They got way ahead, like 6,000 gold ahead, and then they just thought the game was going to go their way. Like it was like they were just like, oh well, we're 6K gold ahead.
They just didn't.
We don't take bad fights. We're just going to win the game. And instead, Fnatic also said we're not going to take bad fights and just waited them out.
They just didn't opt for the win here in the first part. We saw a great game coming out of FrostiaK right here on top of maniaKK, and just too much damage for the monkey to handle. Goes right down, and that really, that's at the pace of the game. This was Fnatic, this was Dignitas' game for 90+% of it.
44 minutes. Yeah. Realzx is your player of the game here from Fnatic this time around. A couple of nice spots that he picked, but like you see, I mean, 5, 3, and 7 is your top player on the side of Fnatic here. It was not a clean game at all from Fnatic, and Realzx played fine, basically. I mean, exactly. You know, there wasn't really a position for him to come in and get a quad kill because there was so much dodging, such a large lack of fighting, and ultimately it just comes down to a raw snipe wins the game here.
And I mean, exactly. And what you were saying, there wasn't a position for the quadra to come in. There wasn't a position for the cleanup to happen because Dignitas played so well. Yeah, I mean that's really what happened here. Dignitas control. That was the story of the game. Dignitas had control. They avoided fights when they felt like it. They just never took anything.
They did like everything perfectly except for stress their advantage. Where they like built the advantage, they secured the advantage, they got objectives off of it, but didn't win the game.
And Fnatic go ahead and they take the game off of a couple of surprise takes from themselves. And in game 1, just come out swinging dominantly. And their support player, Badgah, was a large part of that win in the game number 1. And that's why we're joined by him today. Badgah, hello, welcome, and congratulations on your wins. How you doing today?
Thank you. Yeah, feeling great. Bit of a sloppy second game, but yeah, still feeling great.
So talk to us a little bit about that second game. I mean, our analysis here from the desk was that Dignitas is winning that game. They're dodging fights. They're not letting you guys 5v5 them. And then what happened? Like, was it just they made a mistake? It seemed like neither team was really too willing to fight until someone messed up. Was that the case?
I think it was mainly on me not playing. I didn't initiate enough early game, and so we fell behind. We fell behind by like 8K. And at that point, what we needed to do to win team fights was we needed to peel back into raw heals and just heal up after every small engagement, bait out their weakening, bait out their ultimates, and keep reinitiating, and that's what worked.
I keep bringing up Captain Twig here. Earlier in the season, he just wasn't doing very well, and then recently he has been absolutely fantastic. And his performance in game number 1 is a really good representation of that. What's the feeling in the comms on the team? You know, is that something you guys noticed and made a part of it? What's the feeling on you guys now that Captain Twig is back to his same old stuff?
Yeah, it was definitely a problem at the start of the season, but
even at the last LAN, Badgah. I mean, like I think you guys left there saying, "Man, Twig really underperformed," and everyone knew it. So, like, what's changed since then?
Well, I don't think much has changed in terms of the team, but I guess he has maybe taken practice more seriously. Yeah, I don't really know, but yeah, he's been turning up lately, so that's good.
Can't argue with success, I guess.
Exactly. I mean, credit to you guys for dealing with it instead of going for the quick roster swap, and it's been working out well. So again, congratulations on your recent wins, and as you guys are doing so strong on the top of the charts, what is your feelings looking towards your next opponent?
I think we play LDNC next.
Yes.
So we're gonna watch I think they still have 1 game left this week.
They do.
All right, we're gonna watch that game. We're gonna
next, Badgah.
Okay, right. So we're gonna watch that game. We're gonna go through that, see what have something special. We're gonna maybe just practice like usual, and yeah, just play it like we usually do.
Awesome, thanks, man. One final thought before I let you go here. How good did it feel to get a solo kill on Bacchus?
Oh, that was fucking amazing, dude.
Hell yeah.
Thought so, man. You can find him at Fnatic Badgah / BM Badgah on Twitch. Any final thoughts before we send you off, buddy? Calls or shoutouts?
Just want to say thank you to my team for carrying me in the second game, and yeah, good game to Dignitas.
Well, there it is. From the horse's mouth, Badgah and Fnatic go up 2-0 to Dignitas here, and that will move us into the next game here from Europe, and our final game from Europe for this Saturday. It's London Conspiracy versus Epsilon coming your way next. That does it for me. Tom, Hinduman, and Brandon will be taking over the coverage for the rest of the day. See you guys tomorrow here from the Spike Pro League.